September 11th. Speaking of September 11th, I would like for everybody to stand as Chris leads the speaker. But before Chris does, I would like to have a moment of silence in honoring the first responders and the victims of 9/11 2000.
Okay, you will follow me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Chris. All right, welcome everybody here online and in person to our meeting. We have quite a few items to cover, and so we're going to try and go through them as rapidly as possible so everybody can enjoy this nice weather that we have today.
Yes.
First up, let's see, we are having a hybrid meeting format, which means we're in person here at the Wellness Club right now, believe it or not, and also online soon. So either way, hopefully we've got everybody covered. We're planning on doing this a couple times a year. So far it's working good. We have some bugs to work out, but they've pretty much worked out the bugs. So we're going to continue on doing this, and we'll see how it goes. We do have Cindy Grimes, our community volunteer tonight, co-hosting the meeting, and she's handling the Zoom portion of the meeting. So if anybody has any questions about the connection online, get a hold of Cindy. She can answer them for you. And again, we thank Cindy for her offering and effort for helping us out voluntarily. First item we have up, or actually the third item, is the agency reports. I'm going to start off with Los Angeles County Sheriff, Resident Deputy Martinez. Are you with us here tonight?
Hey guys.
Hey.
So, welcome back, I guess, since we had a break last month. So starting off with our Part 1 crimes for August. So July and August, because I guess we got to do both of them. Every once in a while, they go through and they correct some of the stats. Let's say that the urn was pulled, the report was pulled, and it was actually an Acton crime, not our crime, or Santa Clarita, or whatever the divider is. And so those get corrected, and July is that month. So you'll notice, Mary, that I sent you, we actually had -4 Part 1 crimes. It's because the ones in March were mislabeled and they were corrected. So then we had 2 in August, bringing our grand total for the year to 9 Part 1 crimes. And then in July, we had 9 property incidences, and in August we had 7, bringing our total to 51, which is a 0 deduction of Part 1 crimes. So we're the same as we were last year, but a negative 25% in property crimes from last year. So crime rate went down 25% for properties, and nothing changed for Part 1. And that's where we're at for caught up on the crime stats. As you guys know, Brentwood is burning right now. I was there last night till about 5 this morning. So here, we're in fire season. We're going into fire season. Please, as if we have any advisories or anything that happens in our area, just be aware of them. Watch Duty is a great app to kind of be up to date with stuff. I try to put stuff out on Facebook as I can, but if we start doing evacuations, not saying related to the bridge fire, but if we do have a fire in our area, just be mindful. Those are put out for a reason, and to kind of help keep everyone safe, and the firefighters obviously do the best job they can to protect the properties and stuff like that, but it helps us out to also if everyone's evacuated, so we don't have to put ourselves in undue risk to get you out of a evacuated area afterwards. You guys got anything for me?
No, I think that's it. Let's see if we got any questions here. We're looking pretty clear.
I have one question, Don. This is Rosie.
Yeah.
Just one question for Martinez. I just wanted to tell him that instead of me sending you an email, Orlando, I want to tell you that you will be in front of the parade again this year, leading the parade, okay? So
Okay.
I hope you can make it, okay? Because
Yep.
we're going to put you in the front.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate that. Rosie knows from our meeting that we had there is a possibility if I don't make it if there is a rave at Gardens of Paradise. We don't know yet. We haven't heard back from them on any of it. But basically, there was some online advertising of a possible 3-day event going on, but it doesn't. It was more of possibly like online, I don't know, scam more than anything, using their venue as the so to kind of legitimize them, because nothing's come out as far as like infrastructure or anything. They're not. It doesn't sound like they're starting up again. So we're playing that by ear, and then we're monitoring that weekend.
Good. I had a call from the CHP and they wanted to know that what was happening.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, nothing new to report on it, but that's kind of where we're at. So hopefully hopefully it's not a scam, but at the same time, hopefully it's just a scam.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
News, yeah. Okay, because we can stop the parade because they're going to have a party down there.
Yeah. We'll take the parade route into them, right?
Yeah,
They're having a
all
party
right, there
anyways.
you go. Bring them over so they can go down the street
Yeah.
with their band. Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you so much.
No problem, Lizzie.
Thank you very, very much for follow-up.
Any other questions for Deputy Martinez? If not, we're going to move right on to the California Highway Patrol cops teams. We have Officer Allen. Okay.
It's the first time we've seen him in person.
Yeah, we see him online. We can get the real thing going here. Big guy. All right.
All right, guys. Assuming the mic's working. So for the county arrest-wise, it's pretty light month for us. There's only one misdemeanor DUI in the county areas. 2 stolen vehicle recoveries. It's a pattern forming that we're looking into with stripped cars being dumped on Sierra Highway near Davenport. The freeway between Ward and Soledad kind of runs adjacent to Route 3, guys. Does 5 felony arrests, ranging from weapons charges, drug charges, and stolen construction equipment. 4 misdemeanor arrests for DUI. Citations for the county and freeway combined was 292 citations issued in August. The county was a total of 35. 22 being on Sierra Highway, 5 on Agua Dulce Canyon Road, and the rest were on adjacent county roads, small roads, like Anthony. Freeway was 257 total. For the traffic crashes, we had 3 property damage, 7 injury TCs, 2 hit and runs, and 1 fatality at Roller Flats. That was on the 1st of August. That was a while ago, but it was still smooth. And that's about it. Nothing major other than that 1 crash. Everything else is pretty minor. Breakdown for the injury crashes, most of them were on Sierra Highway. 3 of them, actually 3 were on Sierra Highway, and 4 were okay. So 2 streets.
Okay. Great.
Any questions?
Any questions? Looks like they're clear. Wonderful. Thank you very much for making our meeting. We appreciate your report and look forward to working with you in the future.
Oh, perfect. I have another thing I have to go to, so I'll be stepping out. But if you guys have any questions come up, emails and
We'll track you down. All right. Thank you. Good to see you in person. Hi, buddy. Thank you. Okay. Now we have Los Angeles County Fire Department. Maria is here. Yes, Maria. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I have July and August. For the month of July, 51 total incidents. 24 were medical calls, 1 service call, 19 good intent calls, and there were 7 fires. So of those 7 fires, there were 4 vehicle fires. One of those vehicle fires had a slight extension into the brush, but it was just a small spot. And then we had 3 brush fires. We had on the 21st, we had the Bryson incident, which was 2 separate starts that totaled 5 acres with no structures threatened. On July 22nd, we had the Maria incident, and I had nothing to do with that. But it was kind of nice. That was a 300 by 50 foot spot creeping along the freeway. And then on the 23rd, we had the Brandywine incident, which did result in a second alarm brush fire with 2 separate starts. One start was at Davenport and Haskett, and that part of the fire was kept to about 2 acres. And then the other spot was at the 14 and Agua Dulce, and that one was held to 21 acres. And there were no structures threatened on either side of that one. That is it for July. For August, a total of 23 responses, 16 mythical, 4 good intent, and 3 fires. 1 fire on Sierra Highway was a trash pile that was underneath the rear porch, but we were called out, but the fire was out by the time that we got there. And then we had 2 brush fires. On August 9th, the Rocks incident, which was a 1/4 acre brush fire, and on the 20th, the Cindy incident, which was a 1/2 acre brush fire. That one had 2 structures threatened. The origin of that fire appeared to be behind an abandoned structure. The cause was undetermined, and the 2 structures were saved. That is it for the report.
Do you see the new statutory part?
Anybody have any questions? We're looking pretty good. Wonderful.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right.
I've been following the response to the bridge fire.
I'm sorry?
I've been following the response to the bridge fire, and it seems that the evacuation, this new evacuation,
Genesis.
Genesis that you've got, is working really well.
Yes.
Because it's tied into the what?
We activated those zones because of this fire. So those zones had not been active yet. So we did go ahead and activate them because it became very necessary.
Yeah, it looks like it's working really well. So.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with it. So yeah, Genesis is working really well. We do have a CERT class that's going to start on October 15th, right here at the Women's Club, Tuesday evenings. October 15th through December 3rd, every Tuesday except for Thanksgiving week. We're going to take that week off. So it'll be, all of the classes will be done before Thanksgiving. We'll have that week off for Thanksgiving, and we'll come back one final time for the final drill.
Okay. And time?
6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And I just got the flyer out to Mary. I'll get you a permanent flyer, but something that you can post in the meantime. And then, we'll open up registrations for that. I've asked downtown to set up the class online for registration, but people can always email me. My information will be there. I know they email Mary a lot, so however people want to register is fine. They can register online, or they can register through me or Mary.
Great. Sounds good. Any other questions? Looks pretty clear. All right. Thank you, Maria. Good to see you again.
Okay, good to see you too. And just a word of caution, we are very much looking forward to the parade and Janae one and the helicopter. And they are both as confirmed as they can be. You understand?
Yes.
Because in light of everything that's going on now, we have staffing nightmares at the moment with the amount of strike teams that we have going out, the number of starts we're getting in our own area at the same time. It's been an incredibly busy season so far. So
if you go back to last year,
I'm sorry?
if you go back to last year's fair, all the LAC staff disappeared in the early evening because of the events that happened when that officer got shot outside the station in Lancaster, in Palmdale.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I didn't know that was at the same time. I didn't know that was that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Good.
You just, in this business, you just never know what's going to come up.
No, that's perfect. Kind of like being in the water world business.
So,
Well, you know,
Maria, question.
Yeah, President.
So far you think it's going to be the helicopter coming through? So
The
far.
helicopter's confirmed, it's on their calendar, but
Okay.
no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, I understand, yeah.
And it might not even be, for us, it might be, these fires are breaking out everywhere, and, so,
Can you fly a helicopter?
I'm sorry?
Can you fly the helicopter just in case?
Can I fly the helicopter?
Yeah.
No.
Just a joke, honey, just a joke. Just kidding. Well, I'm told that you're the lady who do it all, so you know, just about so
Well,
many.
I don't do that.
But you don't do that one, okay. Forgive us.
Okay,
Could
thank you.
you get your pilot's license before, and we could book that like 10 days?
I would still need a helicopter though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, we appreciate it. Okay,
Thank you, Maria.
thank you.
next one, we have the loyal Jim from the Acton Aguadulce Library. Librarian is gonna give us a library. Jim,
Good evening. I hope all of you are doing well tonight.
we don't see you.
So, first thing I want to do is thank you. I know we had another cooling center activation over this last weekend. Thank you for helping get the word out there. We had some people stop by, so it's always nice to be able to have people taking advantage of this stuff when we are able to offer it. So, thanks for helping get that word out there. Also, looking forward to the cool down. So as far as what's going on here at the library, first big thing we got going on is it's our annual bookmark contest again. So as you may remember, every year around this time we have a bookmark contest. Everybody in grades K through 12 are eligible to participate. They can either print the form off the internet or come on by the library and grab one. They design a bookmark, and then winners are chosen at the local level here at the library, and then also at the supervisor level. Supervisor Barger will pick winners from her district, and those winners all get grand prizes and a trip down to downtown to go to a board meeting to be honored for their. So that's coming up. We're going on now, actually. So go ahead and check that out. Next big thing I've got going, our friends of the library are having their book sale. It's coming up the end of September. It's going to be Saturday, September 28th. That'll be from 10 to 4. And then Sunday, September 29th from 10 to 2. Great thing about the Sunday is it's the $2 a bag. So you bring a bag and bring $2 and you can fill it with as much stuff as you want. That's the bargain day. Last thing I'm going to bring up is something going on tomorrow, actually. Between 11 and 5, we're having a blood drive here. So if you got nothing going on, feel like coming by and do that, stop in. They'll always take a walk-in for that. Other than that, that's all I have for you guys, unless you have questions for me.
See, we're looking pretty good.
All right.
Thank you, Jim, for your report.
Of course, have a good night.
All right, thank you. All right, next up, we have Josie. Get the
Hey, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good.
Okay. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Josie Gutierrez. I'm with LA County Public Works. I'm basically your community liaison to Public Works. I have a few items to report, which Mary was nice enough to put them in the agenda. But basically, we have a couple of paving projects. One is in Agua Dulce community, and one is in Acton. The first one is Agua Dulce Canyon Road, Phase 4, basically from just south of the 14th Freeway to Soledad Canyon Road. It's a mill and pave, and the work is tentatively scheduled to start on Monday, September 16th, and it will take about 2 weeks to complete. Working hours is from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. The road will remain open to traffic, but obviously there's delays because we'll have flaggers at each end of the project, and a pilot car will be guiding vehicles through construction. The next one is on Sierra Highway, from about 1,200 feet west of Crown Valley Road to Mountain Springs Road. So in case you have residents of Agua Dulce, go east. That work is scheduled to start also on Monday and will take about 8 weeks to complete. So we're looking at maybe the second week of November. The work will be done by our contractors. So working hours is from about 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Basically, the roadway will also be partially closed. Most likely, there'll be one lane access. Same thing, we'll have a pilot car guiding motorists, residents, emergency vehicle through the work area as necessary. But if possible, we ask residents to try to avoid the area, try to use detour alternate routes as much as possible because it's about a 5-mile walk. And so there's no telling on how long the delay would be. Let me see. Those are the two projects that's going on right now. I know there's one, unfortunately, Chris, the Sierra Highway Phase 4 project, which is from Center Street to Agua Dulce Canyon Road. We most likely will have to push that out to the spring of 2025. The reason for that is the work will need to be done by our contractor, and unfortunately, right now, it looks like their schedule is booked until November, so by that time, we have the weather, it would be a factor, so the likelihood is it'll be pushed to spring 2025. But if things change, I'll keep the town council posted. Let me see what else. Then there's a few environmental events happening. 2 disposal days, free disposal days at our public road yards. The first one is on Saturday, September 14th. It's from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. It will be in our Little Rock yard. It's at 8505 East Avenue T. And then the second one is on the following Saturday, September 21st, also from 8 to 1, and this one is in Lake LA. But if you're planning, to make use of these free disposal days, we encourage you to attend early because the bins gets full right away. So once they're full, we basically end the event. I know typically Charles Boswick from our SD5 Antelope Valley office is out there giving free vouchers for those that were not able to dispose of their trash. But I encourage residents to attend, to go there early as much as possible. Let me see. We also have the free mattress recycling event. That would be on September 28th. That's also in our Little Rock yard off of Avenue T. One last thing, as you know, the comment period for the draft EIR for the North County Solid Waste Collection Services ended September 5th, last Thursday. And so right now, Public Works is working with our environmental consultant to review and prepare responses to all the comments we received. And then the next step would be basically, I guess, depending on the comments, then finalize the EIR.
They come from the country, they come from everywhere.
I'll discuss that with our, because I did mention that. I know the parade, the timing of the parade, but I'll discuss it with Thomas and then reach out to you and the council as far as if, we adjusting the timeline. Because I did mention it to him about the parade, but he thought because it's on the southerly end, because the parade route basically is from Davenport, so you're looking at the north side of the freeway. But I'll mention it to him and have him contact you directly.
Okay, and how about the Sierra Highway? Is that going to affect us?
Oh, the Sierra Highway, that's not going to happen until September 2025.
Okay.
Spring 2025.
All right, but the one in Aguadulce Canyon Road, check on it for us, okay? Because that will affect us.
Rosie,
Yeah,
the Agua Dulce Canyon Road is all south of the freeway.
Correct.
south, but there are people, is it towards going southbound or is it northbound? Both ways.
Both. both ways.
Or they will be coming northbound. They're coming from Canyon Country. They're coming from different areas.
Right, but it will, the construction on Agua Canyon shouldn't affect the parade at all, and even people coming, because it's just from south of the 14 to Soledad.
I understand that.
It's on the other side of the freeway.
Yeah, and also it's a Saturday.
They will be going south or northbound. I don't know which they're going, but they're going on the 14 from Agua Dulce Canyon Road to Soledad Canyon.
Right, and they can be on the 14 and get off on Agua Dulce Canyon Road, make it to the parade in time.
Correct.
Okay, well, if there's no problem, I see some problems there, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not right all the time, I know that. But it just seems like construction going all the
Typically, Rosie, it's a Saturday, so the construction work isn't actually happening. And what they've done previously when they've resurfaced Sierra Highway and Agua Dulce Canyon, they have actually opened up both lanes so that people are just traveling on a milled pavement in both directions, normally without any center median markings.
Recording stopped.
Yeah, we never had any construction during the parade time that I can remember, near Agua Dulce Canyon Road or Sierra during the parade time in the past. And I've been chairing the parade for about 15 years. And I was riding the parade for more than that, for 20 years maybe. So I don't remember it. So I don't know if it's going to affect it. It probably won't, but I was just concerned.
Rosie,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I just want to let you guys know that we lost connection with the main meeting at the Women's Club.
Oh.
Mary will probably tap us back in here very shortly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
While Mary's getting us back online, can you guys hear me okay on the Zoom call? I'm just asking, because I'm hooked up to the Zoom call too, so.
We can hear you, Chris.
I think it's also worth mentioning while Mary's resetting this,
Recording in progress.
there is a free... That's me. There's a free dump day coming up on the 5th of October at the Lancaster Waste Management Landfill. So we won't get a chance to put that on our agenda before the next meeting.
Okay.
And that's from 8 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon at 600 East Avenue F. It's one of the two bring up to, I think, a ton of waste.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so you can pretty much load up the truck or the trailer and get there early and dump it if you miss either of the two ones that Josie mentioned earlier.
Okay, so that's in Lancaster.
That's at the Waste Management Facility.
Lancaster landfill. I'll get a copy of the PDF file and I'll share it with you, Mary.
Okay, perfect.
It's October 5th, 8 till 2.
That's Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay, perfect. And now, Cindy, are you back with us?
I am. I have a question for Josie.
Yes.
Back a couple meetings ago, I believe it was Candy who mentioned that there's a little bit of extra traffic issues at the corner of Davenport and Agua Dulce Canyon, where people are either running through, and I know Deputy Martinez discussed it, and I think Officer Allen or Officer Delgado also discussed maybe patrolling a little bit there. I was over there and with Cliff, and we were kind of looking at it, and we've lived here for a while, and we've always kind of felt like, would a mirror up at that intersection help? Because we can't see past the fence. We understand, that the gentleman or the property owner there doesn't, they shouldn't have to give up any more of their property to move the fence back. But would a mirror, I'm sure you've seen them, and is a mirror in your department's realm, or do I need to go in through a different channel to see if that's what would be beneficial?
My understanding is that mirrors are not something that Public Works installs, but I'll check. I'll talk to our traffic investigations group, see what can be, I mean, to look at that intersection and see what can be done. And if they have follow-up questions, can they reach out to you, Cindy?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And I don't know if it'll help the people who are running the stop signs, but at least it might help gain some perspective of what's coming up Agua Dulce Canyon from Davenport.
Hey, Cindy.
Thank you. Yes.
Hey, it's Deputy Martinez. So we had a big issue with one of the, like the intersection over by Meadowlark. I went to Public Works and told them like a mirror would be, it's going to save someone's life because someone is going to get killed at that intersection leaving the school. It's a blind corner. People are driving way too fast down Soledad. Even at the speed limit, you're not going to see them coming. You're going to see them when, as you turn out because how the line backs up. And they pretty much flat out told me that they don't do the mirrors. Not going to happen. Something about distracting other drivers and possible fire danger. I'm pretty sure the liability of saving someone's life to be able to see around all the traffic would negate it. But if you find a way to get it installed, please let me know because I really think that Meadowlark needs one over there too.
Awesome. Thank you.
And this is at Agua Dulce and Davenport. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it is.
So it's where Davenport tees into Agua Dulce. In other words, you're coming from Sierra Highway on Davenport, and you're going to tee. It's a T intersection at the end of Davenport that tees into Agua Dulce. And the problem is we can't see the traffic coming up from the freeway.
Right.
That's still traveling at freeway speed in a lot of situations. Although, okay, all right. So that's the intersection that's in question. And it's when you're there at the stop sign and you want to make a left turn to go to the Vasquez Rocks, and you've got oncoming traffic coming up from the freeway at a high rate of speed that's causing a problem. Okay, good enough. All right. So yeah, that is worth looking into because I know it's an issue. All right, anything else for Joseph? If not, Josie, thank you very much for attending the meeting tonight. And we appreciate working with you in the future. Now, report from the 5th District, Stephanie English. If Stephanie's with us here tonight.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you, even though you're in tiny little squares. Let's start with Gardens of Paradise. Thank you, Deputy Martinez. Yeah, we appreciate the notification of anything that's going on there. We did get county council on that right away. And if you do see anything, please do let us know right away because the sooner we get that information, hopefully nothing is occurring there, but we certainly don't want to, have a slippery slope. The board, yeah.
Who is us? So if
you
breaks out,
yeah.
then we
You can let me know. It's best, if it's really best to kind of, you can have Mary or one of you guys text me or let Deputy Martinez know, and he and I will be talking to each other. If you could text me, I would like to know right away because I want to get all the powers that be, putting the full force of their weight into that if something should occur there.
Perfect.
Yeah. The board has been silent or quiet for the last few weeks, so we haven't had too much going on. I would just, encourage you to watch the propositions and things that are occurring for this ballot.
Recording stopped.
Whoops, they dropped us again. We'll wait for them to come back.
Okay. Chris, can you hear us?
So do we plug it back in?
Stephanie, just bear with us a second while
Oh, sure.
Mary
Take your
gets
time.
back online.
That's okay.
Recording in progress.
We knew right when you dropped, so we were waiting for you. Mary's there. She is.
Okay, sorry about that, but
That's okay.
can you
All right, you're
No.
live.
No problem at all. As I said, the board has been dark for a few meetings, but encouraging you to continue to watch what's happening on the ballot, the propositions. As you know, Measure A will be back on for more homeless funding that raises the property or the tax from 1/4 cent to 1/2 cent. Board expansion, I don't know if we've talked about that in the past, but the ballot measure to expand the Board of Supervisors from 5 to 9 will be before the voters. Supervisor Barger absolutely supports that going before the vote. Ethics Committee now, which LA City has and other councils have, but she also noted appropriately that that doesn't mean that electeds behave themselves just because there's an ethics oversight. And we've seen that all too often as well. So Measure A, the board expansion, the board took up today, this is the first meeting they've had since they've gotten back. They took up today a motion to kind of prepare for the Olympics in 2028 related to safety and homelessness and all kinds of other issues. And I'm sure you're all glad you're far away from when that will be happening. So that might be something else to watch as well. And I think that's all I have for you, unless you have any questions. We're going to start rolling into more business as we get acclimated back into regular board meetings.
Stephanie, I have a question. Will you be able to stick around for our discussion about the Agua Dulce project this evening?
I don't think so because my grandsons are here and they're waiting for me, unless it comes up pretty quickly. But as you know, Chris, I'm all very, very interested in that, and I would love to follow up with you after if I could.
Yep, we'll do that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well, thank you very much, Stephanie. And
You're welcome.
We'll keep you posted with what we find out here local. At this point, we have got Assembly Member Tom Lackey. Carlo is here.
Actually,
oh, wait,
we have Ken Warren, who's going to report back on the Title 22 tune-up. I think Ken is on the call, so yes. He was part of Stephanie's team to address the case.
Oh, Ken. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. This will be really quick. Just to let you know, there is an ordinance coming to public hearing before the Planning Commission next week. That is the latest in our tune-up program. And that program is focused on making the county code consistent and coherent. Every year we have lots of changes to different parts of the code, and they don't always match up with each other. So this ordinance and others in this program seek to correct those issues. And the only thing that affects Agua Dulce specifically is that the Community Standards District for you is getting a new number. So if you're going to reference your regulations specific to your CSD, it'll be in a different location in the code, but none of the content is changing. So that's it for the tune-up. If you have any comments, feel free to email them to me before next week's hearing, and let me know if you have any questions as well.
Great. Thank you very much for attending our meeting tonight.
Of course.
Okay. So we have a report back from LA County staff regarding Sleepy Valley. Is that company?
Yeah, so the Sleepy Valley Water Company, as of the beginning of July, now falls under the California State Water Board Division of Drinking Water, so we're no longer regulated by LA County Public Health.
Okay.
The septic system hasn't been fixed, but the water company did reach out to the Los Angeles Regional Office of the California State Water Board, and their compliance team has reached out to the county staff to understand what can be done to make this homeowner fix their septic. We did get a call about 10 days ago that the homeowner had allegedly had their septic system pumped out, which is half the problem because it's 2 years ago since it was done last. And effluent flows out of these holes in the side of it into the groundwater supply. So we test the water every 2 weeks with the laboratory. So we're just going to monitor the nitrate levels and see whether there's a a corresponding movement downwards in the nitrate levels as a result of this. But at the moment, it's still an issue for us. And we're just going to keep pushing through it.
Okay, great. All right, and the next item, or the last item, looks like Kelly Lake Community Outreach. False information submitted by applicant and not confirmed by regional planning staff.
Yeah, Stephanie, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I listened in on the Cali Lake discussion with the Board of Supervisors, and when I had looked over the staff report said the applicants notified the Agua Dulce Town Council, they have no issues. How do we keep that from happening? Because they never notified us, and we do have issues. So how do we get regional planning to verify those statements? Because usually anytime somebody's asking us to not even support, but indicate that there's no problem with it, they come to us, we write a letter. There's no letter that we've written to regional planning about Cali Lake.
Right. I can't remember how I heard about that, probably from you, Mary, but I don't remember. Yeah. You guys wrote a follow-up letter saying that you did have concerns, right? Did you write a letter, or we just talked about it? I forget what happened.
I can't even remember because it was so long.
Okay, I'm so glad I'm not alone in that. Let me communicate with regional planning, and this is good for Public Works too, if Josie is still on, that that the departments should not consider a statement like that without a written approval.
Yeah, I just pulled it. It says community outreach. The project site is in the area of the Agua Dulce Town Council. The Town Council has been informed about the project by the committee, and the Agua Dulce Town Council has not expressed any concerns about the project.
Yeah, I think I probably laughed when I heard that as well at the day of the meeting. But yes, I will communicate with those departments to make sure that they, to be honest with you, I trust that regional planning probably knows that you have concerns because we've talked about that with them before. However, I think it would be, if you haven't sent a letter, I don't remember what happened, I would send a follow-up letter. For some reason, I could have sworn there was an email or a letter that we forwarded to them. I can go look, but if there isn't, I would suggest that you write a letter to regional planning. You could CC the Planning Commission, and you could CC Mr. Silver, who owns Cali Lakes, or his representatives. That might be a wise thing for you to do. But to your original point, we will make sure that the departments know that it needs formal correspondence for any
right, because the applicant can say anything they want.
Right.
And we're usually pretty good about getting the information to regional planning, but
right.
This one really slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, you guys are good, but like I said, I have a feeling they knew, regional planning knew that there was nothing on file for that. So I'm not sure that it took any, it was weighted in any way. But nonetheless, I would suggest you still send the recommended letter.
We'll do that.
All right. Anything else? All right, great. Now we're off to Carlo, if you're still with us, Carlo. I saw him earlier.
No worries, I'm still here.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, I'm still around. This on the legislative front, it's kind of quiet because the legislature did end on the last day of August. There is a motion to start a special session to look at gas issues that the governor has brought up. The assemblyman is due to be in Sacramento next Monday, and if that doesn't work, it's the Monday after. Interesting times. In the meantime, he is in the district. He is visiting. He made a big visit to the line fire headquarters the other day, and today he was going to go out again, but of course, there's another fire there, so he wasn't able to go up. He can't even get to that part of San Bernardino County from here. It's pretty wild. Over 100,000 acres burned. Wow, incredible. In less than 1 week. That's about it for now. You might see the Assemblyman I know he's in a lot of different events because he's not in Sacramento. So he is visiting from Kern County. He's basically hitting Kern County and San Bernardino County. And he will come back to LA County. He did do a very interesting public safety forum a couple of weeks ago. I wish more people would have attended, but it was very interesting. It ran over the various problems that we have in the district. I know that everybody thinks the district is just Palmdale and Lancaster, but it isn't. It's all over the place. And with that big lineup of CHP and LA County and all kinds of different safety officers, even from Lancaster and Palmdale, they went through a lot of issues, and it was very informative. And that's about it for now. Any questions, any problems, please call our office, 661-267-7636, or email me. I'll put my contact in the chat. Any questions?
All right, any questions for Carlo?
Yeah, Carlo, last month or the month before in July, we were discussing the lack of response from the California State Water Board to some grievance petitions that had been filed by some residents regarding the dredge and fill permit that was granted in early 2022 for the Agua Dulce residential project. Essentially, those residents, they filed the grievances the right way. The State Water Board acknowledged that, and then at a recent Water Board meeting, I think in June, one of the residents was advised that because the State Water Board had done nothing, that the grievances had been dropped. So they simply didn't deal with them. I know that we'd advised those residents to reach out to you to see if the Assemblyman could actually get a response from the State Water Board. Did any of those residents reach out to you in the last couple of months?
No.
Okay.
Not to me directly. I don't believe that it might have. Chris, I will double check in the office and I will call you back.
We'll take it offline.
Yeah, we'll take it offline.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing it up. When we miss a meeting, all of a sudden it's like, what? I'm glad you keep it up. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Looks like Sandy's got a question. She's got her hand up. Yes, Sandy.
Actually, I have a comment, Don, for Carlo. I came to see you at the library.
Yeah. Oh, you did? You heard this I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. That was me. I left you with a letter in my email. I have
and I turned the letter up I brought it in and turned it over to the Assemblyman. And so far, we're still working on it. I'm not quite sure what we're looking at, but it's still in process. And like I said, I'm glad you reminded me so that I can go back and sometimes I think things are done, but they're not. So I'm glad you guys are here.
Thank you.
Glenn's got a question. Yes, Glenn, go ahead. Glenn? I'm guessing that's Glenn Winter. Glenn?
We're having a town council.
Oh, you're still muted on your microphone there, Glenn.
Having a town council meeting.
If you can go ahead and unmute your mic. There you go. All right, Glenn, you got the floor.
Oh, you can say.
Oh, good. You can hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you now, yes. Oh, now you're muted again. Okay, if you can unmute your mic, Glenn. There you go. Now you look like you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Not used to using this device for Zoom. Carlo, yeah, my wife Marcy Winter, I think she reached out to you about this issue.
At the library?
No, not the library. I think she called you.
I can't recall, but yeah. All right. Leave me your, text
about
me your
that.
number.
And you said you would,
Yeah, look into it, and we are, but,
okay.
sometimes they don't have the answer right away and they keep researching it. We've had, it's usually our process, we send it up to, we have like, policy people who look into the policies and stuff and decide, this is worth changing, this is worth hunting down, this is worth calling the different departments. All right? Not as simple as.
I understand. It's just a crazy world. The fact that if they didn't take any action, they could dismiss it and not look at our appeal is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It seems not fair.
Okay.
So I appreciate it if you look into it. I'll leave my number on there as well in the chat. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they did take care of it, I think, for Lincoln.
All right. Glenn, your hand's still up. Do you still have another question?
Well,
All right. So I think that's it for Assemblymember Carlo. Tom is represented by Carlo in tonight's meeting. All right. So that brings us to Senator Scott Will. Thomas Moreno is his spokesperson tonight. Thomas? Not here. So we're going to move on to U.S. 27 Congressional District Mike Garcia, represented by Jackie Owens tonight. Jackie?
No here.
No. Okay. If anybody wants their email address or phone number, they're in our minutes or in our agenda item here, or probably on our website. So, yeah, okay. Senator River Watershed Area Steering Committee Measure W Watershed Coordinator Amanda Begley. Amanda or Heather? Durban will entertain either one, Amanda or Heather. No report. Okay. Anyway, the report next Santa Clara River Watershed Steering Committee meeting is September 19th, which is coming up about a week or so. And it's going to be 1 to 3 p.m. Santa Clarita City Hall, which is on Wesley Bowl. You want more information? Let us know. Presentations and discussions. Old business. Proposed North Angeles National Forest Monument. From our July meeting.
Yeah, we talked about that we had a presentation at the July meeting.
Right.
And I put together a pretty simple draft letter if we wanted to support it. But I don't know if we want to support it. I don't know.
What is the council's feeling on it, open for discussion right now regarding the letter to Ms. Juana Torres, outreach manager, I believe.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I found somebody else to send it to, John Munson.
So they were looking for support, and they gave a list of who had given them support. So feelings towards offering support to them.
To the monument?
Yeah, to give the Angeles Forest, the North Angeles Forest.
Oh, we thought that was a good idea, didn't we?
Monument designation.
Yeah, I thought that was a good idea.
Well, we listened to it, we didn't discuss it.
Oh, okay.
They actually gave a presentation. But
Right, I remember that, yeah.
They had talked about it as a community or the council. But basically, the new national monument will establish 6 major priorities. 1, honoring indigenous peoples who have stewarded this land for millennia and preserve their sacred sites. 2, protective wildlife and wildlife linkages. 3, providing our local mountains a more powerful identity to help attract resources for increased staffing, ranger stations, and proper signage. what was to improve in sustainable recreation opportunities, including the lower flats off-highway vehicle area. 5 was to protect the Santa Clara River watershed and the drinking water provides. And 6 was preventing mining and resource extraction. And those would be.
Recording stopped.
Chris, can you hear us?
Cindy, I can hear you.
Okay, we're waiting.
Recording in progress.
The communities groundwater comes from when you look at those groundwater maps that are out there. So we already know, just because of the EIR for the high-speed rail and the tunnel boring they want to do, how many thousands of acre feet of water are going to be required just to drill 2 6.5 mile long tunnels.
Right.
So anything that we could do to prevent the mining and resource extraction of that area, which frankly, I mean, despite the fact that we told people in the DEIR and the EIR that you're going to potentially just cut through people's wells when you go and bore these tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that we can do to preserve a much bigger watershed for the Santa Clara River, I think is a good thing for our community. So you can strike 1 to 4 out of it, from my point of view, and just concentrate on 5 and 6, because that's the essence of what allows us to live here.
That protects us, gives us some form of protection.
Yeah.
Health protection now. And the other good thing was, or the positive thing, is that it looked to me like they had every other area except for this little area.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
And so that at least would give them, when they made a declaration, it would cover a more widespread area rather than just little spots.
Yeah, initially when I heard about this, I was concerned that if there was a commercial business that was actually happening in the forest right now, that they would be allowed to continue.
But no new ones.
No, I think new ones might be allowed, but it would have to, it's going to be reviewed more so than just with the forest.
All right. So, do we need more discussion on this, or someone want to make a motion? We send this letter, or wait, what's the council's feeling for it?
I'll move motion that you send it.
Did you want to do any edits to it?
Well, opposed? Send it, please.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so are we back live, or are we on Memorex?
I don't know, can anybody out there hear us?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna continue.
Just bear with us.
All right, so and I'm gonna open it up to see if anybody is still No, so we're gonna go on, that's A of old business. B, RTG Investments, Agua Dulce Residential Project. Chris?
I would very much appreciate the opportunity to share my screen.
Share the screen.
So I
Let me see
can
if I can
navigate.
figure that out. Give it a try.
See if we can do this right. Can anybody, can everybody see that?
No.
No.
I think it was a-
That should be on the screen unless we lost it. Okay.
There we are.
Okay, that's my share. Okay, there we go.
Thanks.
Okay, love it when it
That
comes
works.
together.
Okay. Let's go forward.
All right, so there's a few things I'd like to just cover off really quickly today. Something that dropped into the town council's inbox a couple of weeks ago from a former project geologist who's been working on the site, not just for the current developer, but for the previous developers. I also wanted to share some of the lawsuits that have been filed against the developer in the LA Superior Courts in recent months, and dive into those. And then talk a little bit more about the State Water Board, and then just summarise what is really going on here. So, as you know, well, certainly people on the council know, we got an email on the 28th of August from a gentleman who works for a company called RMA Geoscience. And this is actually a very large company. I mean, in the concept of trust and then verify. I had a look at the guy's background. I'm not going to name him in this forum, but he has 41 years experience in supervising hillside grading projects. He has been responsible for the Ritter Ranch Phase 1, which was a 550-home hillside grading project. He oversaw Tesoro del Valle as the principal geologist, where they graded 20 million cubic yards of earthwork, which is about 10 times what RTG needs to do for the Agua Dulce project. He was a septic consultant with the Desert Road subdivision in Acton, which is behind Crazy Otto's on Santiago Road. This is a silver something or other housing development. I don't know what it's called. And then, as I say, he's had some involvement in the Agua Dulce residential project prior to its acquisition in 2018, then actually on site overseeing the grading. And he's raised a number of concerns over the execution of the project in terms of the grading and also the viability of Phase 1 in terms of its septic systems. And RMA Geoscience actually resigned from the project in midway through last year for a very familiar reason that we are hearing more and more often, which is they won't get paid. So let's just dive into the grading feedback. The person who wrote to us, their last role at the project before they resigned for non-payment was daily documenting the grading that was happening outside the project boundary. If you remember about a year ago, we took a position with the county where we said, hey, look, there's all this dirt that's suddenly started being stockpiled on this piece of land that's between the 14 and the southern border of the project. And that email states that some of that stockpiled dirt was actually being brought in from outside the project, from the I-5 construction that's been going without a permit. And I would say that given this person's familiarity with the project and the fact that their role was to document this pile of dirt, this is probably a founded allegation as opposed to just somebody who's not happy that they didn't get paid and wants to throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. And the email goes on to make some comments, and it basically says that we never worked with a developer who's got such little understanding of what's needed to complete a hillside grading project. The grading crew who are driving around on the site lack any experience with hillside home grading, and that's evidenced by the fact that after 1.5 years, they've achieved precisely nothing. And if they make a mistake cutting a 1 in 5 to 1 gradient slope, you can't just dump some more dirt on it, compact it, and it gets fixed. You have to then start reducing the gradient of the slope. So he's given us some comments which I think echo points that the council has raised with the county, which is, hey, look, these guys have got no prior experience developing anything in the United States. We think that there's some very unusual aspects to this project. We're very concerned that we're going to end up with scarred hillsides in a bankrupt developer. Exactly. And we really want you to step in and act like a responsible agency. And so far, they've been largely remiss in doing that. Then the geologist goes on to talk about some septic feedback for the site. So he's basing his, comments on what he did for the Desert Road subdivision project behind Crazy Autos. And he basically said, look, of all the lots in that subdivision, we weren't actually able to build on 7 of them because we couldn't find a spot in that lot where we could get a percolation test to support a septic seepage pit or a setup. And in fact, on one of the lots, they actually had to put 32 test boreholes in there before they could find a spot to put the septic leach system. He then goes on to comment that the Agua Dulce residential project, which isn't too far away from the Desert Road project in Acton, is actually built on harder rock than the Desert Road project. And not a single test borehole has ever been drilled for the project. And this is consistent with what the next door neighbour, Ken Estes, has said to us over the years, which is that when the prior owners developed the project, and they had geologists working on it, those geologists made a very similar comment to him, which is that outside of the bottom of the slope of the hill, where the sediment has actually deposited and the dirt's a little bit thicker, once you get up onto the side of the hill where the rock is, you're really going to struggle. And these are 2-acre lots, but when you look at the developer's plans, there are very large homes, potentially with swimming pools, stables, accessory dwelling units, and you very quickly run out of 2 acres of land to go and find those areas where you can have a successful leach field. And in his professional opinion, this is not just the council's conjecture. This developer has no clue what the cost will be to test every one of these 68 lots to find the disposal areas that actually conform with the LA County environmental health requirements. The email then goes on to basically say, look, I'm letting you know this because obviously it's in your district, it's your constituents who are affected by this. But it's ironic that Supervisor Varga's office is very concerned about the potential of developers scarring hillsides and then running out of money before a project is complete. And he took this to them, I don't know who, because it doesn't say in the email, in late 2023. And it's like a dart getting thrown as a marshmallow, it's just another one of the comments about the validity of this project that's just disappeared.
Did he get any response from?
I don't know. I mean, should we talk to this person? What's the view of the council?
Based on the fact that he's done work in Acton, I'm thinking if he reached out, he may have reached out to the Antelope Valley office.
Right.
And they would have, said, okay, thank you.
But should we talk to this guy?
I don't see that would be a problem at all. I think we should talk to him and get details.
Right.
Especially since he sent it to her office and got no response a year later.
Yeah.
In 2023 he sent it, and no response.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I'm really thinking it probably went to the Antelope Valley office, but.
Okay. Well, I think this is important because we've made very, viable points to the county about the septic systems, about the fact that the whole project was approved on the condition that there would be a regional wastewater plant, right? And these septic systems were temporary. Now what we're being told by somebody who's got 41 years experience and direct hands-on knowledge on the project side is, I have significant concerns whether you could even get septic systems into these projects. Yep. And that's set against the backdrop of the developer telling us that I want to trim this down. You know, can I just put one water tank in? This was the discussion in June. And can I trim everything back and just build a few models down in the bottom so I can find a way to sell, you know, these other lots, and there's 68 lots in phase one to people. I mean, it's when you get to the next part of this presentation, you'll understand exactly, I think, what the concern of our community is and how valid it is in terms of what we raise to the county. So this was another one of those, you know, I've stopped work because they're not paying me. We know the biologists didn't get paid. We know from the dialogue that they had with the county in the middle of last year that they weren't paying the San Bernardino abandoned mission Indians, the artifact oversight. And we'd heard these rumors about other contractors who'd worked on the project who weren't getting paid. And in fact, I joked when I got that email, I think in June, that I didn't want to be a consultant to their project to help with their sales and marketing promotion, whatever they wanted, and just join the line of people who are waiting to get paid. So they made this big deal about, they make these overtures about, hey, you know, we want to really drive the local economy. And what you see here is they're just driving the local economy bankrupt. So the first one that I came across was on from December. And it's a company called Stubbs Equipment out of Orange County versus Agri Construction, which is the company that does the sort of subcontracting, and RTG, the owner of the project. And basically, if you read the complaint, it says, we began renting equipment to Agri Construction in 2019. And then they came to us in 2023 and said, look, we need some articulated earth-moving trucks to put the dirt in to haul down the hill. And they gave them 2 trucks in May and another 2 trucks in August. $300 mechanics lien against the project and the property for the unpaid rental fees and the repair costs. $128,300. What then happened was the lawsuit was effectively completed. So we want to make them sell the property, and they gave a parcel number here and satisfy the mechanics lien that we got, plus interest, plus attorney's fees, and we want to be able to buy that land as part of this. What happens when you file a case in Superior Court, one of the first things they try and do is steer these towards arbitration. Right. Because the judge doesn't really want to have to deal with it. If you can figure something out with an arbitrator, they'll basically take the lawsuit, and that's what happened. So in April this year, after the arbitration, Stubb dismissed the case as a result of arbitration. So I think it's reasonable to assume that because the case got dismissed, that Stubbs got some money. They might have not got all of it, but they got enough to make them happy and tell these guys that we're not getting any more from this. Then you've got another case from March this year between Elite Earthworks and Engineering, who are based down in Corona, and RTG Investments. So they entered into a almost $3.5 million contract in October of 21 to install that 20-inch main along Sierra Highway and Valley Sage Road. And then over the period from October to 21 to October 23, there were some change orders that they had to put in that increased the price to $4.275 million, rough numbers. And RTG paid $3.1 million of that and has a delinquent balance of $1.157 million. Elite filed a mechanics lien of just over $1 million in December last year with a 10% per annum interest coupon. And the lawsuit here lists about, I mean, I've just given you the top claim, breach of written contract, but there's about half a dozen different claims. And because RTG withheld progress payments that were agreed upon in the contract, Elite is seeking 2% a month of interest on the outstanding payments. And the lawsuit seeks the amount owed, the interest, the attorney's fees, and the lien sale of the project. So RTG then filed a cross complaint. So they basically countersued Elite on May 3rd. And the case is currently stayed because it's been pushed into arbitration. Typically what you see when you're signing these contracts, whether it's renting equipment or doing these things, they say, look, it's really expensive for litigation, therefore our better bet is to do arbitration. So the court has said, okay, guys, go see if you can figure this out. So that's where this case is at the moment.
Since May?
Since May. Yeah, arbitration is not it's not a quick process. The breach of contract one, again, came up in April this year, about a month after the last one that we talked about. This is a subcontractor on the project called Superior Paving Company. And they sued Elite Earthworks and RTG Investment and an insurance company called Arco National Insurance Company. So when Elite signed this agreement with RTG to put this 21-inch water main, and they went out to Harco, presumably as a condition of the contract, and secured a $3.5 million performance bond that says, we're going to do this, we're going to make sure we do it for RTG. And then sometime in early 2022, Elite hired Superior Paving as the paving contractor, so once they'd actually dug a hole, put the stuff in it, put it all back together, the paving company came along and made it all good and suitable, finished off Sierra Highway and so forth. Superior Paving filed a $163,000 mechanics lien on the 23rd of January this year. And the lawsuit seeks the amount owed, interest and attorney's fees, or a lien sale of the property. So Harco actually responded to the complaint on June 7th. I haven't read it because it costs money to download these documents. And the complaint in the, I think the earthworks against RTG is like 124 pages long. So I just download the first 20 where the complaint itself is, and then you get into all the exhibits and crap that they attach to support the contract and all the other bits and pieces. So Elite this week filed a motion to compel arbitration for this, because presumably the agreement they've got is similar to his other that says when there's a dispute you go to arbitration. So this is pending with the court at the moment. But if you then, we've discussed a little bit of this earlier in the meeting, so I'm not going to recap. We've had nothing back from the Water Board. We do know that the Water Board issued a fine to RTG at the end of May. Unfortunately, the Water Board's meeting was postponed, or actually it was cancelled on July 25th. So there was no executive officer report, there's no agenda for you to be able to see the internal workings of what actually happened here and what the compliance team are asking the Water Board to consider. The next meeting is in just over 2 weeks on September 16th. And at some point soon on this website address that I've included on the slide, you're going to see the executive officer report and the agenda. Because that's not yet online, but we'll be able to download it and understand more of this. So, if we take the totality of what we know, okay, I mean, there's other vendors who are working on this project who are, I'm sure, rowing around in the same boat as the leads. And
I'm waiting for the lawyers to come and sue for non-payment.
Well, they quit. So the minute that they resolve this dispute with Ken Estes, the lawyers just resigned.
Don't blame them.
So in May of last year, the designated biologist resigned due to the unpaid fees. In June of last year, the geologist resigns due to unpaid fees. Now, I'm going to just ascribe a number to each of those because it was many months for each one, as I understand it. And let's say it's $125,000 a piece. So let's say there's $250,000 there. Then we know from the dialogue between RTG and the county said, unless you pay these Native American oversights, you're not getting anything from us. So they were, yeah, we are behind on the payments and we'll catch them up. That happened in the summer of last year. I don't know how much because the number wasn't in the emails, but I know that they were getting paid. Then in September, the equipment rental company files a $128,000 lien against the project. Then in December, the water main contractor files a $1 billion lien against the project. Then the paving contractor files a $163,000 lien. And then in May, the Water Board fines them $320,000. All against the backdrop of this professional opinion that these guys have no clue what they're doing. And the county just keeps checking the boxes and letting it carry on.
Why?
If you add this up, it's $1.7 million without the state water board. So it's, yes, they paid the biologists. Yes, they settled these lawsuits with the equipment rental company. Yes, they finally caught up on the payments for the San Fernandino Band of Mission Indians. But they did it in the first place. They are trying to stiff people here for at least $2 million. And it's happening in our backyard. It's happening under the nose of LA County. And the interesting thing for me is that, yes, we've said that we're going to send a letter to the supervisor. This is not just the council saying this anymore. In 12 months ago, when we sat down at Stephanie's office with Anish Saraya, we said, hey, look, these guys aren't paying their bills. And he sat there and said, hey, you know what, here's the first one here. They're developers, they're slow on paying. These guys
Just
have
for
racked
vision.
up 1.7 million. They tried to diss these guys for $1.7 million. And now they've got a $320,000 fine from the water board. And now they're coming to the county saying, well, we want to make this smaller. We want to just do a few little things. The job is saying the guys are running around on the side of the hill without a clue of what they're doing. And our community is going to end up wearing this if we're not already wearing this problem. And to me, this is incredibly helpful because when we put that letter together with Supervisor Barker, we've got the insurance company telling us from the legal point of view that these bonds weren't valid. This performance bond that Elite got is nothing to do with RTG in terms of their bonding to the county. This is just Elite's performance to RTG. So that link to perform the work from RTG to the county was broken, and we've got a legal opinion from the company that owns the bond that says it wasn't valid. Now what we've got is a geologist with 41 years experience saying, I don't think this site will support sort of septic systems that has been proposed, and I don't think that these guys have every capability to make a complete dog's breakfast of the side of the hill that they're going.
That's the biggest slap on the face right there.
Mm-hmm. Now, I also got some videos. I didn't put them in this, but Ken Estes, who lives next door, has security cameras all the way around his property, and he's right next door to the east of this project, northeast. And he sent me videos, and he's got mountain lions running around, which he hasn't seen before. He's got bobcats running around, which he has seen before. And he's got badgers now. Badgers. I've got video from either August or early September on badgers, and he said, in the 30 years I lived here, however long he's lived there, I've never seen a badger on the property. And the only place they're coming from is they're being displaced.
Right,
What's going on? What's going on? It's going on. You know, mountain lions, bobcats, they have a very large territory.
Right.
Many, many miles. But once you get into a badger, badgers are very localized to their sets. I know this because they're indigenous to the UK, and so there are many, many, many things that are now going wrong with this project, and I think it really is time that LA County just sat on the horse the right way round and owned it and put it under the right degree of oversight and control. Otherwise, everything that the geologist has said about this is going to come true. I have little doubt that these guys are very capable of screwing it up in a monumental way and then walking away owing people hundreds of thousands
last year. You said that.
Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And it's not just the council saying it.
No, I know.
We've got all this empirical evidence from outside of this that supports the message that we need to take to the supervisor.
And when you strip a mountain like that, and if there's any kind of excessive rains, the flooding is going to be monumental.
Oh, that's true too.
Because you've taken all the shrubbery, the roots that hold the water in, there's nothing there. It's going to just flood out.
So I don't really come with any, hey, let's write a letter to the supervisor about this, because we already said we're going to do that. Right.
Okay, I think we may have lost everybody again. Let me just see. Can anybody hear me? Cindy?
We can.
Okay.
Yes. So I don't come with a request of let's write another letter. I'd like to talk to the geologist and really dive into this and understand, what the issues are there in more detail. But I think in terms of the trajectory that the council's been on to bring this to the supervisor's attention and to do it in a way where the people that she has responsibility and oversight for within public works and regional planning cannot weasel out of this. And Nisha's right, I can't tell me that this is just a flesh wound.
Who's the one you pointed out last time that was really just kind of shoving it aside and saying everything is okay? You had a real feeling about that person.
We've had some rather, certainly Art Vandervis, who is the person that we met